So I wanted to talk about, well, actually hell, actually, and don't ask me what brought the subject to mind, other than I guess it's actually a very significant subject. I mean, what about hell? And I know a lot of folks would say in this day and age, "Oh, come on, you can't be serious." I mean. Maybe people a couple thousand years ago believed in that stuff, but we're a lot more sophisticated now, and I get that. It's kind of where I was for a lot of years of my life, so I understand the sentiment. But isn't it true that if you're really an open-minded person, I mean truly open-minded, then you'd have to say, well, yeah, I mean, I would grant that as a possibility. And once you sort of get that on the table and you grant it as a possibility, and you think about it for, I don't know, like even 10 seconds, you sort of realize, man, I'm not sure there's a more serious subject out there. And so, what about hell? Now here's another thing about it. There are a lot of people who would say, man, I'm cool with Jesus. It's just the church that I don't like. The church sort of bums me out. And look, I've been a church guy for about 30 years now, so. The church sometimes bums me out too. I can understand that sentiment real well. But here's what I don't get. The person who says, "Hey, I get bummed out by the church and all the sort of like the health talk or whatever. But I'm really cool with Jesus. But did you know that Jesus talked a lot about hell? And so I just don't think it works to say, yeah, I'm cool with Jesus, but I'm not cool with talking about hell, because if you're not cool with the subject of hell, then the reality is you're not cool with Jesus." I think that's just sort of a point of intellectual honesty that we got to deal with. But here's the real deal that I kind of wanted to think about for just a moment, and it would be this. I believe in the reality of hell for a lot of reasons, and I don't want to necessarily go into all of them here, but here's one reason why. For 20 years of my life, I lived without the presence of God in my life, and I'd have to say it was hell, I mean, if God is life, then to not have God in your life is to be in a kind of a living death, and I spent some time there. I know what that's about. If God is light, then to not have God in your life is to live in a kind of a gathering darkness, and I would say that I experienced some of that in my life as well. And so here's the thought. If it is possible to experience the absence of God in this life, and many people actually do, is it not possible to experience the absence of God in the next life? And isn't the absence of God, by its very definition, hell? So, it's possible. And like I want to say, I don't think there's a more serious subject out there. But I'd also want to say this. It's not just that hell, which is a reality. Eternal life is too. And something that I've experienced in my life is that Jesus Christ is that connection to eternal life. So there are a couple of thoughts on this pretty serious subject that people don't talk about anymore. So what do you think?